Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a bit of something special. I have finally acquired the full version of my editing software, and I did say a very long time ago, if you do remember, that I always wanted to upload a Let's Play of Bloodborne, as Bloodborne is a game that is very special to me. And now that I do have the full editing software, we don't have to worry about giant watermarks in the middle of the video. And I know that that's been something to deal with, and I know it's not been exactly the best thing ever, but with patience, we finally got it, folks. So, welcome to Bloodborne. This is a amazing game, and I feel like you are, in fact, in for a treat. I like to approach video games from a tactical perspective, so you may see me being a bit of a tactician in regards to this game. This is not a blind Let's Play. This is not even a Let's Play where I'll get like into the story and the lore and whatnot. I really want to get into streaming if I ever can, and I want to do all of that stuff when I begin streaming. This will just specifically be a Let's Play of Bloodborne and whatnot, and me going over a few things, trying to show you some different things going on, so that you can perhaps get a bit better at the game, and you can enjoy this amazing game made by FromSoft. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. I will be leaving cutscenes. I am going to experiment with audio and whatnot, just to make sure that I'm not necessarily too low and the music isn't too high. I will perhaps, if the music in the video game audio is pretty wonky, what I'll end up doing is I'll just lower it for when I'm not fighting in boss fights and whatnot, and raise it. Well, and raise it for when I do fight in boss fights and whatnot, because the music in this game is absolutely phenomenal, and I do really think that you will appreciate it. Now, excuse me, I know I am talking over it now, but I'm going to do my best not to talk over cutscenes too often. Like I said, you're probably not going to understand what's going on unless you watch someone like Vadi and like I said, this isn't really going to be me explaining the story or anything. This is just me doing a good old Let's Play, and we're going from there. Alright, now I know that was a lot to process, and you're probably not really going to be able to. But, like I said, I'm not really going to be explaining the story and whatnot. This is just going to be me playing through the game. Again, this is not a blind playthrough. I have played the heck out of this game. I have done challenge runs and everything, so, you know, me playing the game versus you playing the game is going to look very different. I say as I just got freaking bodied by this wolf. But this is an enemy that actually wrecks a lot of new players because they're like, oh my gosh, a wolf. And you can actually circle strafe him and perform a strong attack, a strong charged attack, which is this. And if you hit their back, that leaves them in a staggered state, which allows you to critical them. And you can do that on most enemies. Now, like I said, I've played through the game and whatnot, so I'm going to make the game look a bit easy in certain scenarios, but just know that I'm going to be doing my best to try and give a few tips here and there for like improving on this game and whatnot. I may be speed stratting a bit occasionally, so don't worry about it. I'm not gonna like speed strat all the way. I'm just gonna do small things just so that I can put myself in a better position for later on. And I will also be showing you unique ways to deal with certain boss fights that are just not very fun. Hello. Excuse me. Thank you. Can you get up the ladder? Don't hit me. Oh. That wasn't desired, but nonetheless. Alright, from here, this will take us to good old Hunter's Dream, where we will get our weapons. Now, this is going to be a strength build, which in Bloodborne, strength is actually not nearly as good as skill because of stamina consumption and because of, for some strange reason, they allowed skill to scale with criticals, like, pretty much exclusively. That is the only way to boost criticals. Oh, I accidentally skipped the cutscene, I'm sorry. But it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm not going to be explaining story that much anyway, so it doesn't matter nearly as much. Now, my favorite weapon in Bloodborne is the Threaded Cane, but this is a strength build, so I'm actually just going to go with the Saw Cleaver. And I am going to go with the pistol because, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they made shotguns deal basically abysmal damage unless you have insanely high blood tinge. And they're just not reliable to parry, and parrying is important in this game. Very, very important. Alright, and with that, we now have our weapons. Like I said, I'm not really going to be focusing too much on story here. This is just a nice little playthrough. I'll do my best to take it a bit slower and like get a few things that I usually don't go by and whatnot. And we'll go from there. I will be getting my weapon for the rest of the game very early on, as I only need to kill one boss to get that weapon, and that weapon is going to be a smashing good time. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll understand why. But seriously, nonetheless, I do love this game, and this is my first Let's Play, so I'm still going to be getting a bit used to doing my best to keep you guys entertained as I talk over gameplay and whatnot. So, let's get into it, shall we? Now, Bloodborne is a game that is very punishing for, like, new players and whatnot because of how aggro, as you could probably see there, enemies can be at times. What they will end up doing is if you are in front of them, they usually like to retaliate and spam a consecutive barrage of moves that will usually oftentimes end up resulting in you getting wombo comboed. And that's not desired by any stretch. Come on. Come on, I know you see me. Good thing, though, is you can charge attacks so that you can hit people through walls and whatnot, and that's very fun times. And charged attacks, obviously, are going to be hitting a lot harder than just a regular strong attack. Oh, good night. You see what I mean by, like, the wombo combo? I mean, it wasn't crazy there, but it was still, you know, get out of it. Also, what I just did there is while he was trying to hit me, he missed. And so he was in a vulnerable state, so I hit him for a higher damage than I normally would. That is counter damage. And what you can do with counter damage is some very, very crazy stuff. So, something that you need to realize is parrying and whatnot, very big part of Bloodborne. It can really help. There we go. As you just see here, that's a parry, that's a riposte, or a visceral in this game. It's pretty much the same thing if you play Dark Souls. It's just Bloodborne's version. And what you can do is sometimes when you are hit, as I was hit there, and you have successfully parried him, you can dash forward and accept the parry. Oh, wow. A blood gem? That is a rare, rare, rare drop. I do not often get that. Is that even any good? For starting, I mean. Blunt attack. That's garbage. At least I can sell it. Nonetheless, Bloodborne is a great game, and I really do hope that you guys will give it a shot, because it's pretty nice. If I'm not mistaken, I believe a while ago it was free on PS Plus, but PS Plus is BS Plus, because, I mean, you don't own it, so I'd highly recommend just buying the game, because PS Plus, like, locking you out and whatnot, that's a nice little ambush, but he, was not the quicker man. PS Plus is locking you out of crap is just absurd, you know? Especially in times like this. I mean, I'm like, with the whole, like, you know, quote-unquote crisis going around right now, like, there's tons of people out of work, and so, hey, you might have to sacrifice about, what is it called? Your, internet bill and whatnot, so, hey, sometimes you're just not gonna have. Goodbye. Also, transforming your weapon is something you can do in Bloodborne. This is the transformed state. This gives you a longer reach and whatnot and different moves. And so you need to also learn how to switch between your transformations because it can often put you in better situations. This obviously giving me more reach, and that'll allow me to deal with enemies from further away while I hit them and they can't hit me. Yada yada yada. Doing my best to try and explain the game in a tactical setting, as that's how I actually like to approach video games for the most part. I like to be a bit more tactical and just play things from a distance. Also, if you didn't know, the cleaver and soft spear, as you will soon see, hopefully later on, these are some of the most powerful weapons in Bloodborne. They are starting weapons, but they are literally some of the most powerful weapons in Bloodborne. I'm probably not going to kill all this mob, because, whatever. I'm not going to just kill all enemies. I just want certain items and whatnot. So I am going to be speed running, stratting, kind of here and there. Not too much. But there's a few items that you can just run and get early on. These Bloodstone Shards are upgrade materials. That also allows you to obviously upgrade your weapon. Also, if you did see, like where I was taking damage there, I had orange health. That's called Rally. What you can do is, if you hit an enemy while you are in that state, you can recover your health. Now, what you can do here... Oh my gosh, sorry about that, guys. Family member came, opened the door, so I had to cut real quick. But it's just going to be a nice little cut for you guys. Nonetheless, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an issue. Because now that everyone's home, you know, like, they can just come in at any time, and so it's not too fun. But at the end of the day, is what it is. Now, these dogs will break out of their cages if you take too long to kill them. So what you need to do is you need to rush. You need to rush in there and just, like, freaking get rid of them quickly. This path, as I just followed, is a shortcut that will take you to the lantern that we just came from. The starting point, if you will. And once you get this open, you will now have a shortcut. I'm going to be kind of speeding through, like, I'll obviously play slower later on, but this is just me doing a playthrough. It's not really going to be me, you know, basically going really, really, really slow and whatnot, trying to explain every little detail. I feel like that this game is just better to stream, because it's like there's just so many things that you can explain when you're in a stream, since you're like not stalling for time, or not stalling for time, but like what's the word? What's the best way to put it? You're not limiting your time to like, oh, how I'm doing, because I'm going to record these in sessions of like 30 minutes, and I know that maybe people won't really watch the whole thing, but there's just so much to talk about and to show you in Bloodborne, and I just feel like I can't really accomplish that in, like, you know, just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This is just a game that I feel like I really need to, at least if I'm going to be doing it in sessions like this, it needs to be 30, if not just streaming. Now here's something you can do. You can sneak right up on enemies, charge the attack, and boom, there you go. I could have taken the critical, but he was already dead, so it doesn't really matter to me. Now, something interesting here is these enemies will chase you for 1.5 miles. So what you can do here is run past them in GTFO, but there is an upgrade material hidden right over here, and we pick this up, and we hopefully don't get hit. Yep. Good. Oh, good night. You relax there, And we run back over here because this is another upgrade material. Oh gosh. And if you don't know, these enemies are in fact programmed. Oh my gosh. This is an upgrade material as well. Up. You relax. They are actually programmed to where if they hit you, you usually are going to, like, 9 times out of 10 try and roll backwards, right? Uh-oh. Sucker. Ran right off. You're usually going to try and roll backwards, and so they are programmed to continuously attack forwards, so that if you keep trying to roll backwards, they just keep hitting you. Now this rat, you can actually do jump attacks and ruin his day. And there is an enemy over here guarding a certain item. Now you can approach this from two ways. You can actually wait for him to turn around, which he should. 1, 2, 3. Yep, there he is. Or you could have just attacked him right then. Now, obviously we are in water, so running and whatnot is going to make a lot more noise than walking. We charge R2s from the backside. That puts them in stagger, and kaboom. One hit. And there. Now we have armor. If you want to call it armor, it's basically just trench coats and whatnot. And might I add, call me quote-unquote edgy by societal standards, which is, I find hilarious. But Victorian setting armor, pretty much, is my favorite kind of clothing. I love really long coats and whatnot, and I really think that that's my thing. Now this right here is an ambush, as you can see by all these weird looking enemies and whatnot. They do guard a bit of bullets, so that's something that you can pick up nice and early on. They are actually very weak to fire, so if you have Molotov cocktails like I picked up early in the beginning, you can abuse them with that. Now you're probably like, well, why didn't I do it there? Well, because they're not worth it. We can save them for a more important enemy to deal with very early on to get a nice solid amount of damage on them. And you will see me doing that in a moment once we get to the boss, which we will get our main weapon from. Oil urns right there that I just picked up increase your fire damage for the first attack, I believe. Yeah, the first attack after you like hit them with the oil, the next fire attack will be enhanced. And so that's nice. Da 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 da. Now these enemies are something else. But I'll take that. You can deal with them easy enough once you figure them out and whatnot. Remember, the goal in Bloodborne is to be aggro, but don't be too aggro, you see. Bloodborne wants you to be aggressive, but if you're too aggressive, you're going to get counter hit, and counter damage is not fun. Even at higher, like, new game cycles and whatnot, you can think you're hot stuff all you want to, pal, but you get hit with counter damage. Oof, one-shots, they're not fun. I did not mean to jump attack. Oh, yay. Now, right there, you just saw one of the big issues that I don't very much care for sometimes, and that is falling off. Now, what you just saw there, like I said, was the saw spear, which is the skill version of this weapon, and it and the cleaver, like I said, are very, very, very powerful weapons. Some of the most powerful in the game, I might add, simply because of how versatile they are. Any class can use them, and this right here, the transformed attacks, they stagger very consistently, and they build a ton of this thing called beast mode, in which I can show you, and that completely just destroys crap. So yeah, you guys are in for quite a treat. Choppity chop. But nonetheless, I won't be using it. But it's good to pick up early on, even if you're not planning on using it, because you can sell it for a good number of souls. Sorry, I'm going to probably be skipping through dialogue a lot and whatnot. I know you guys are probably like, oh, that sucks. Well, but keep in mind that this is just playthrough and whatnot. Isn't necessarily going to be me explaining story and whatnot. I really want to do that for a stream. But with the way things are, I don't know. Maybe I might play through one of these days and actually do... Oh, gosh. Not fun times. He almost killed me, believe it or not. Had I been, like, any closer, he would have killed me. I really want that item, though. I really want that item that you have there, buddy. Stop guarding the ladder. Get out of my way. It could be very nice. I'm just saying, don't kill me, please. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Yeah. Alright, where is it? Alright, there it is. I see it. But seriously, in all honesty, I do think that you'll like where I'm going with this. Alright. Excuse me. Look at all these rats. Good night, man. Ugh. Vermin! Oh, vermin! Vermin! Look at these things. Ugh. Good night. Alright, we got past them. Don't have to kill all enemies now, guys. Always remember, no shame in running. It's called tactical retreat. But don't panic in certain situations like that. Now, you can in certain situations, because certain enemies, you're just not getting out of that. Like, if they start spamming you, you're just dead. Certain enemies just have wall-up attacks, and if that's a crowd of them, then that's not fun times. This is also an upgrade material. Why am I not upgrading my weapon yet? Well, because we can put that into the main weapon, and there we go. Now, this enemy right here, if you're looking ahead, that fat freaking boar, that is a very dangerous enemy if you're not close, but you can do some very questionable things to it, such as this. Very questionable things indeed, yeah. Bloodborne! Thanks for letting us do that to pigs, I guess. But yes, you can do some questionable things to it, and that will allow you to relatively kill them safely, because once you get an enemy into... Excuse me. Once you get an enemy into this, and then you take the critical, you can loop them usually indefinitely all the way till they're dead. There's not any enemy except like a boss, if you backstab a boss successfully, that can successfully... And even some of those bosses, you can actually loop them as well. There's not many enemies that can escape that loop. So, that's a nice little technique for you. Now, something interesting here is, like, he knocks himself down if you, like... If you run up fast enough, like, and dodge the, flaming Indiana Jones ball of death, he will actually knock himself down, and you can just hit him one time and kill him. It's a nice little thing if you're interested in farming this area early on. Although I wouldn't really necessarily say farm it, because you can just get souls a bit quicker. And I know in Bloodborne they're called echoes, but whatever. You can actually get them very early on, and just from picking up items and whatnot, and just knowing what to do. It's all about knowledge. Knowledge is power, and trust me, knowledge in Bloodborne is everything. But upcoming right here, we see two enemies, and best thing to do for this is to try and separate them, hopefully. One turns around, yep, there we go. Best way to handle them is to either, oh, well, you came all the way down. No, none of that. I wanted you guys to relax and approach one at a time. So let's go ahead and try and separate them. Oh yeah, I have pebbles. Very useful item, because you can use it to pull enemies apart. In other words, get their attention. And so instead of approaching a lot of enemies, only one approaches. Come on, come on. Yowza. I apologize if you just heard that, like, knock at my door. That was my cat. Oh, stairs. My arch nemesis for posts. Good grief. Alright. One more enemy to dispatch of, and then we will be heading to the Hunter's Dream. Hello. I'll be taking that, buddy. Now, with all of the current things that I picked up, these upgrade materials, I have 10. And I can actually get my weapon to +2 if I wanted to, but we're going to save that once again, because we're going to be getting our main weapon very, very soon. And by very, very soon, I mean pretty much after I come through and deal with this enemy. Right here, that you will see approaching from this bridge. Wait, can you actually see him? No, that's the tree. That's the tree. It's always interesting to me to see the details that From likes to go through. Come on. Alright then. Alright, Crow, you son of a gun. Okay. Get out of it. Also remember, when you parry them, they are in a counter hit state, so even if you don't have the highest visceral damage, like I will show you perhaps on a challenge playthrough, well, it won't necessarily be really challenging per se, but you can take advantage of counter damage even if you don't have good visceral damage. Nonetheless, this is where we're going to stop for now. I know that this first episode was kind of all over the place, but still getting used to some things. I'm going to be experimenting with audio and whatnot, and we're going to see what happens. I'm probably going to just keep recording from here on, but we're going to stop this one and record next one. So get ready for a special treat as we will be facing off against the first boss. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, rate the video what you think it deserves. Tell me what you'd like to see in the future in the comments below. And I will see all of you back in Yharnam.